Good afternoon, viewers. You are watching us live on Caravan News Network. This is your weekly news recap with me, Alkali Cham. I have a gentleman on the show today by the name Mr. Cisse, who will later introduce himself. So we're coming to discuss about the post LG election analysis. With all new Gambian electorates went to poll last last week Saturday, and of course that is across the country to elect in their local government representatives. Mr. Sise, you are welcome to the show once again.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Mr. Cham, for inviting me about this election analysis, which is the local government. It's, of course, very important to take a flashback of the recently concluded local government election. And I'm very, very glad to be engaged about this matter.
Okay. First, we have to start from the foundation. What is the relevance of local government elections in a country?
Thank you. Thank you very much. That question is most welcome. When we talk about the local government, we're actually talking about that part of the government which manage the affairs of people within their locality. And that is necessary because the government cannot do it alone. And so decentralization is what warrant the establishment of local governments in order for them to, let's say, complement government effort when it comes to development at local level, right? So people, elect their representative at local level to also, take charge of their affairs at local level. And this will make sure that, citizens have the chance to participate in certain development that is spearheaded by the government, but in the name of their locality or in relation to their locality.
Okay, so in this sense, uh, devolution of powers is also very significant as the central government manages at certain point, and we also have the local government that deals with the grassroots directly.
Yes.
Thank you so very much. So we go into the post-election analysis. We have almost about uh, the majority of the political parties all went contested in these keenly contested local government elections across the country. At the time of going to the polls, the number of registered voters in this country stood at 962,157, but only 243,899 participated in the local government election, which represents 25% of the registered votes, and 75% did not participate in the election. Is this not alarming? Why are people, in your own opinion, why do you think that people did not attach much significance to the local government election because the turnout was very
poor? I think sensitization is key here, and so I would say sensitization is lacking. Not because let's say the National Youth National Civic National Council for Civic Education is not sensitizing the people, but I think more effort needs to be exerted to sensitize the people about the importance of the local government election. And besides that, it is a culture in the Gambia that, local government, the turnout is always, when it comes to the election of local government, the turnout is always poor. And in fact, it's worse than in 2016 than even in 2022. So we are complaining that this time around the local government turnout, the turnout was poor, but it was worse in 2018. So even this one is better than 2018. So there is improvement in any ways, but there is more expected.
Because the percentage of the electorates, represents 25%, while the 75% all have not decided to not going to vote. That's a big margin.
No, that is very huge. That is very huge, and I believe it is high time that the Independent Electoral Commission look into that. More strategies need to be looked at and also implemented to make sure when it comes to local government election, people come out and vote. We should not take it less important because it's not presidential or it's not parliamentary. right? It's also something that is important. It is part of governance because the local government are also part of the government. And so they complement government efforts when it comes to development at the local level. So if we do not take it serious, then when it comes to certain development at our local level, which is very, very key, might be a problem. And so we might live a life that we might not like at the end of the day, because we understand that these local government officials are the people that directly interact with us at government at local level, because the president cannot do it alone, the National Assembly members cannot do it alone. Right? That is the essence of decentralization.
Some people are of the view that all these elections should be conducted the same day. That will address the issue of the low voter turnout in national elections.
That would be too much hectic, and it will be also very, very expensive to run it as well. And if you look at our system of voting, it is structured in such a way that that cannot happen. You know, we vote because we have it in our laws that by this particular time there will be presidential election, and from this time to this time there will be National Assembly election, and this other time to this time there will be local government election, and we name. So if we have to, do that, then it means we'll have to amend certain laws in our constitution and change things so that it will fit for purpose, then there we can have it. But I believe also if you will have it in any ways, that will be too expensive for us to run. And so it will be another cost, another problem for Gambian people to handle as well.
Okay. So we look at the individual parties that participated in these elections. We have the United Democratic Party has filed in 102 candidates and won 42 votes. So meaning that the NPP filed in 99 candidates and won a total of 53 votes. GDG filed in 36 candidates and won in 5 votes. The APRP filed 17 candidates and won 5 votes. The NRP filed 4 candidates and won in all 4 votes. And PDOS filed 27 and won 1 seat. The PPP filed in 9 candidates and won no seat. In the Banjul administrative area, the National People's Party won 7 out of 9 votes, and the remaining 2 goes to the United Democratic Party. So we look at the performance of each of these parties. There was a keen a contest between the United Democratic Party and that of the National People's Party, which is the ruling government. Who do you think has performed better in this election?
Overall, it is NPP. Though most people don't understand, because look at the 2018 local government election when NPP was very closely related to UDP. The performance was not very good from the side of NPP. But this time around, we observed that they have taken over, and so you can look at it at a very larger extent overall. But not in certain administrative areas, right? Because if you look at KM and West Coast, we understand that UDP have did extremely well in trying to get the support of the people at local government level. But when you go to the rural Gambia, then NPP have also exerted and do much better and converse a lot of votes in support of NPP at local government. So you understand that this is because of certain factors which I believe are very eminent. If you look at the efforts of NPP in developing rural Gambia, and also if you look at rural Gambians, their experience from before and now, I think this motivates them all to start voting for NPP because somehow they're seeing difference. And even though it's not enough, and one might even say that does not worth it, but because of that little or minor difference they are seeing, they trust the ruling government so much.
Some will argue with you to say it is not as a result of the development that the NPP effect in the rural Gambia, but it's as a result of the impact of the inducement that has been provided to the electorate. The bag of rice, sugar, and oil were claimed to be distributed.
Oh yes, those kind of things. We might not take very important. At least, let's say, when it comes to the town, when it comes to KM and West Coast.
Yes.
When you go to rural Gambia, that is a big problem. At some point in time, we understand the poverty right there. And even though, that it's not just there, poverty is not just at the rural Gambia. Even when it comes to the town as well, we have people that are extremely poor. But the situation is worse right there. Let's just agree, because that is a fact. And so I think that is why I will agree that that is part of the reason why they voted massively to the ruling government, because report has it that it was not just the ruling government that is inducing and also, buying votes and using some other means to get to converse vote for themselves, but even political parties like UDP, and these were the two parties mentioned according to the report from Fact Check. So that tells you that it's a very tough competition, and so the reason why NPP win the rural Gambia is because of let's say some infrastructural development taking place in the rural Gambia, which rural Gambian people never experienced from the past.
We have parties like GDC, 536 candidates and won 5 votes. Do the number of seats that are won in various wards by various political parties, could that determine the strength of parties in this country?
Yeah, very well. And that will also as well influence the mayoral election, which is fast approaching too. You will realize that right now, NPP need to exert more effort in K schools to be able to make it for the mayoral election. Because already West Coast and KM is kind of known to be a base for UDP. And so most likely they might also take it over again for the mayoral election. Even though that is just my belief, And so it's my opinion. But when it comes to the rural Gambia, especially around Basse, Sierra, UDP need to do well in those areas as well to be able to, get a very strong support base, not just at local government or mayoral, but also in upcoming national, election like presidential election, right? Because that is important. Because you understand that UDP as a political party is losing grip in those areas simply because of the mindset of those people and the impact that the local government is somehow kind of impacting the life of the rural Gambian people. That is why it is very, very difficult for UDP to make it in the rural Gambia. But then, living in the KM region, observe what UDP can do. And so, especially with the help of the mayor in KM, that is Talib Bensouda, who's doing extremely well. And yes, some people will dispute the fact that there are problems. And obviously, there are problems with him. But there is also something we need to comment. That is, there is also development compared to past, councils.
3 key areas, that is BAC, KMC, and BCC. These are the 3 areas that these people, the UDP and NPP, are struggling to ground. And then BCC in these local government elections NPP has done well because they have to get 9 seats. Would you say that is an opportunity or a chance, for Ibu Fai to assume mayoral seat in May and defeating the incumbent, which is Rohit Malik Lowe?
Banjul recently is a very, very competitive administrative area when it comes to the local government election. One cannot predict for sure because the competitiveness of the situation in Banjul. But I can tell you this, that NPP have experienced development in that area. And most likely, if that trend continues, they're also going to take it over during the mayoral.
Okay, so that brings us to the end of the analysis. We have a very short time.
Okay.
So, what is your last statement on the show?
Yes, Jam, I would say thank you very much for inviting me in such a wonderful program. It is important for us to always take a flashback, that is a look about the local government election, because it's important. I mean, I want to tell Gambian people that we need to go out and vote anytime it is time for us to go out and vote during election, I would say, because election is important. Contributing or deciding those that are going to rule us or take care of our needs and certain things for a period of time is important. Else, we might get the wrong people who might be taking care of our needs, and so they might not do it effectively, and that will bounce back on us. So we as Gambians, or all Gambians, need to understand the value of local government election, just like presidential and any other election. And so we need to be coming out and vote anytime we are called to vote, because voting is a duty, and so it's a moral duty for every Gambians to go out and vote when it's time for election. And so, yes, that's all I have to say.
Thank you so very much.
Having you here.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Cisse, a political science student at the University of the Gambia. It's a pleasure having you on the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye from us now.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.